Hey everyone, it is Tim from Linessa Farm Specialty and Heirloom Livestock. I'm going to continue our talk about what breed of sheep is right for you. And we are going to be talking about hair sheep. So, LinessaFarms.com, LINESSAFARMS.com is an easy way to reach out to us. You can give me a call or send me a text at 219-869-7524, or you can send us an email at customerservice@LinessaFarms.com. If you are not following us on YouTube, please do so. You'll be better for it, or at least I like to think you'll be better for it. If you're not following us on social media, check us out on Facebook as well. We post a lot of cool pics and things about our farm on Facebook. Hey, you know, these videos are made for people just like you based off of the feedback that we receive. If there's something that you want to know about, if you have questions, comments, concerns, let us know. I'm more than happy to make a video just for you based off the feedback that we receive. So moving on, we've been doing this series talking about what sheep breeds are right for you. And if there's one question I get asked over and over and over about sheep, it is about hair sheep. Lots of people are saying, Tim, I want to raise hair sheep, and I say, why? Why on earth would you want to do that? Let me cut to the chase here real quick. There's two reasons that you should raise hair sheep. This is my opinion. Two reasons why you should raise hair sheep. If you live in an area of the Southwest that is extremely dry, extremely hot, extremely dry, really crappy vegetation growth, that is a great reason to raise hair sheep. If you just want to raise hair sheep, just to say I raise hair sheep, that's another good reason to raise hair sheep. Other than that, I can't think of a single reason why you would benefit from raising hair sheep. And now I'm going to proceed to tell you why that is. You're going to hear a lot of things about hair sheep. Top 3 reasons people say they raise hair sheep. I don't have to get them shorn. I don't have to dock their tails. They can breed out of season. And then probably the next most common, probably the 4th most common one that I hear is I don't have to worm them. I'm not even going to talk about that one because that one's not true. By the way, we do raise hair sheep here. I raise Katahdins as well as wool sheep. I've raised St. Croix. I have raised fin sheep, raised multiple breeds of hair sheep. We raise very few anymore. I kept one Katahdin ewe that is built like a tank, and that's the only reason I kept her. All the rest of them I got rid of. And the reason I got rid of them is their feed to weight conversion ratio, frankly, stinks. It is just awful. If I take a wool sheep, for instance, like a Hamp or a Suffolk or even a Dorset, and I really pour the feed to them, they will literally grow twice as big, twice as fast as a hair sheep. The breeding out of season thing that they talk about, okay, I don't know what to say to that. There's plenty of wool breeds that'll breed out of season as well. Dorset, prime example of a sheep that'll breed out of season. So if that's your primary reason for raising hair sheep, you can go ahead and cross that off your list. Docking the tails. Okay, you know, if docking the tails is your primary hang up with raising sheep, okay, I don't really know what to say to that. You don't have to dock wool sheep tails. You can leave them long, you just have to make sure you shear them. And speaking about shearing, contrary to popular belief, there are lots of people all over the United States that shear sheep for a very reasonable cost. They will charge you a trip charge to your farm, which is probably going to be somewhere between $30 and $50. I don't want to quote prices, but I'll say between $30 and $50, and then they're going to charge you about $5 a head to shear them and trim their hooves. We live in northern Indiana. Our guy that comes to us is actually out of Vermont. I will even include his information in the link below. So if shearing is a hang up for you, I would just say you haven't been looking hard enough, because shearers are out there and they're relatively easy to find. You can even co-op with friends and get together and bring all your sheep to one area and have a professional shearer do it there, but shearing should be a non-issue for you. There's not much money in wool, but regardless, it's not that difficult to find a shearer. You're going to have to put out a little bit of effort, but then again, if you want to raise sheep, and to be quite frank with you, that's the other thing that I don't understand. People say, well, I don't want to shear them, I don't want want to dock the tails. I don't want to deal with parasites, and I want to be able to breed out a season. To me, it sounds like you want a goat. And if you want a goat, then just get a goat, because it would be a whole lot easier for you just to raise goats, buy goats, than it would be to get a sheep and try to make it as close to a goat as possible. The price of goat meat is very high. We raise goats here. I raise boar goats. I raise Nigerian dwarfs. I raise dairy goats. Very lucrative and lots of fun. And if that's what you want to do, if that's the kind of animal that you're looking for, a goat may be much more up your alley than a hair sheep. We talked about it in our other videos, but I wanted to touch bases with you about it now. In the previous videos we said, make sure you're getting what you're paying for. If you go to a breeder and they say, oh, I'm going to sell you a Katahdin, you better make sure it's a Katahdin. Because if they have crossed it with a wool sheep and it's very difficult to tell when they're babies, guess what? You're going to have sheared anyways. And I've been ripped off more times than I care to mention by people that claim they were selling me a Katahdin. Looked like a Katahdin, got it home once the hair grew out on it, had curly wool in it, and we had to shear them anyways. I don't really mind because we shear, but I'm just telling you, if you breed a Katahdin on a wool sheep, you're going to have to shear them. The genetics of the hair will not negate that of the wool. Breeding hair to wool, you're going to have to shear them. The tail docking, we already talked about that. Parasite resistance, that depends on the breed somewhat, but mostly that just depends on where you're getting them from and how they've been raised. I have had Katahdins, I've had other animals, St. Croix, and I've had some fin sheep that were just awful. You couldn't keep the worms out of them. And then I've had black-faced and other animals that had no issues whatsoever. So a lot of it depends on the breeder that you get them from, how they've been raised. If you buy them from a breeder that's just poured ivermectin to them their whole life, or wormed them every 6 weeks their whole life, they're not going to have any worm resistance. As a general rule of thumb, I do believe that hair sheep may have a little bit more resistance, but if you think you're going to be able to get an animal and not worm them, you are sorely mistaken. One of our good friends that actually follows us on this channel raises Katahdin out in Texas, and I've spoken with her and personally, and she has had all kinds of problems, or at least she did when she very first got started. She had all kinds of problems with worms in her sheep. So that's a misnomer. I think it's misleading. I think it's a selling point, but I don't think it's true. So keep that in mind. So it depends on why you're raising the animals. You know, if you're raising sheep for meat, I just don't think you can do better than a black-faced wool sheep, a Hamp or a Suffolk. And I've raised them all. I've raised Hamps, I've raised Suffolks, I've raised Dorset, I've raised Columbias, I've raised Southdowns. Nothing puts on weight as fast as Hamps and Suffolks. If you are raising them for meat, you want to have them, you want to raise them, you want to sell them, you just can't go wrong with a black-faced breed. If you want kind of the middle of the road between, you know, like wool and mothering ability and putting on decent carcass size, and then you're going to be looking more at like a Dorset, Southdown, depending on how they've been bred. Trying to think of another good breed. Columbias to some extent. Corriedales are a good option. There's lots of options out there. I see a lot of people that have a lot of problems with hair sheep. In the end, they're unhappy with them, and they're just not happy with it. So that has been our personal experience, and that was something that I wanted to relay to you. Our hair sheep had lots of babies. They would have triplets, they would have quads, and I would have, you know, if you don't know this, when you go to the sale barn, your animals are going to sell by weight. So, you know, I would have a Dorset that had twins, and I would have a fin sheep that would have quads or triplets, and the Dorset babies would weigh more than the Dorset twins would weigh more than all of the three others put together. And the carcass looked better on the Dorsets than on the other. They would actually end up pulling more money. So be cautious. Look into what you really want to do. Be honest with yourself. Say, hey, you know, if you don't want to shear, if you don't want to dock tails, if you don't want to deal with that stuff, that's cool, and I get it. Sheep just may not be the right thing for you. I think you may be better off going with boar goats or Kikos or something like that. So that's all. these videos aren't meant to put anybody down. I'm not meaning to rain on anyone's parade. I just want to be honest with you and tell you things that other people might be hesitant to tell you. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't necessarily care what breed you buy. I don't even care if you buy from us. I just want you to be happy with what you get. And there's a lot of a learning curve that goes along with that. And I'm just trying to give you my opinion, help you out with that. I am more than happy to answer any questions. I am more than happy to listen to any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. If you think I'm full of beans, let me know. I can handle it. If you agree, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. We are going to continue this series. We're going to have another video about this. Sheep breeds coming up here really soon. And I think we also have a video coming up soon about supplies that you need when it comes to raising goats. So look out for those in the next few weeks. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you very much for watching our channel. We very much appreciate it. And I